And welcome back. Our first guest is a writer whose life has given more than enough material to use in her books. Through all of the ups and downs, she's found a way to create a unique format that she calls edutainment. We're happy to welcome published author Demetra Tsavaris Lecourezos. Thank you for joining us.
I'm so glad to be here. This is so exciting.
So, I mean, in all full disclosure, I've known you for a couple of years, but I have to say, I really didn't know your story. You know, we had met at an event, and then recently I found out that you had published a book. I read a little bit about your background, and I was at my computer bawling. Wow. So, share with our viewers, I mean, you really have been through a lot.
I have. Not much more than other people have. Everybody's got their stories. I lost my husband, my mom actually first to leukemia, my husband then 6 months later to pancreatic cancer, and I now am battling cancer. So, but everybody's got their, we go one day at a time.
But you've turned this into, I mean, look, like you have a beautifully published book, several books at this point.
I have a beautiful published book. I have my gorgeous little daughter, and we roll.
And I mean, you've done it. Yeah, you do it in a way that a lot of people struggle to do it, and you've somehow managed to do it. So how did you find, first coming out of, you know, coming out of those tragedies and now dealing with your own, how were you going from that to then turning that energy into something positive, something good?
I had to. I have to for my daughter's sake, because I can't sit back and just fall apart. I don't have that luxury.
Were you writing before that, or was it those experiences?
I did.
That,
I did.
So
my husband was American born. Most proud Greek I've ever met in my life. I am American born. My parents were American born, but my husband and I were both went to school in Greek parochial schools, kindergarten through our senior year in high school. And we were high school sweethearts, by the way. So when our daughter was born, I mean, we were raised with the Greek Orthodox faith. We were raised to learn our mythology, our history, our traditions, all of that. And so when Katerina was born, it was very important to us to pass that on. And so I started to write little stories for her, and little stories ended up being a movie script, and the movie script ended up being the books. And 12 years later, here I am. So
well, let's get
it took a long time.
Let's get into that, though, because I mean, you're a woman of strength for sure. So let's get into your books. And
I married a Spartan.
That's what it is, right? Exactly. So let's get into something that you call edutainment.
Edutainment.
What is
edutainment? The series is intended to be a reference library, if you will, for teachers, for parents, for educators, for anyone who enjoys world travel. From story to story, the young world travelers share information, history about the culture, where they're traveling to, all different things. And
so is it education and entertainment at the same time? So you're trying to get your point across through education and travel? And
both. And then they also teach about integrity and compassion and manners and all sorts of things. So it's just in a very fun, uplifting way.
Everything that we need to know. All of those wrapped into one.
Now there's something you called an imaginary travel with a magical crystal globe.
Yes.
I would love to hear about that.
The series is considered historic fiction. So historic because it includes all of these historic facts. The fiction part is the magical crystal globe. At some point in the first book, Mrs. Eva says, "Close your eyes and imagine," and poof, a child can be anywhere, anyone he wants to be, anywhere, at any period of time in history. And it's a tool to allow children to use their imaginations.
And that's why I love books, because it really can take you anywhere,
and
especially yes. Okay, but enough with that, because as my fellow Greek, I want to get into your newer book, Ready, Set, Opa! So what is this all about?
Opa is the story of an American Greek family who go to Greece to visit with Yaya and Bapu, their grandparents in Greece. And Mrs. Eva, who is supposed to be my mom, She is the constant in the series, and she meets up with them at some point. And she takes them to these different sites, but with the magical crystal globe, they go back in time, and they go back to the ancient Olympics. They go back to the ancient Parthenon. And so all these different images are in there, and they go to visit Sparta, of course, otherwise my husband would have been rolling at me. And so Leonidas is in there, and it's a charming story, but it's very, very informative and educational. And I'm adults are reading it, and they're learning from it, which is very rewarding.
Did you find writing to be therapeutic for you?
Yes.
Very.
But I never even thought of myself as a writer, which is the funny part.
Wow.
Never.
You were just telling stories. Just
I was trying to teach my child. I was just trying to help to educate her a little bit.
Have you guys brainstormed together while you've been writing more books? Has she kind of become part of the process?
She is a big part of the process, believe it or not. When I get my illustrations, I show them to her. I need her input. She is my audience. And she will tell me it's too dull, it's too colorful.
She's honest.
The hair needs to be changed, the outfit, whatever. And I listen to what she has to say. She has a good eye, so maybe she'll take this over one day. But we are actually, I'm sorry, we're actually working on something together. Unfortunately, she's been around cancer patients for most of her life, and we are writing a book now about cancer, but for children.
Oh, wow.
Caterina, come here. We're going to get her. Go ahead and come on up here. She is so sweet, so precious. So
She's beautiful.
This is Demetra's. Oh yeah, you don't have a microphone on, but you can sit here and look precious. Are you proud of Mom?
Yeah.
Yeah. So which one, can I ask which one is your favorite book? You better say the Ready, Set, Open. Better. Okay.
Nice.
How has
Well, the next book is going to be about Egypt, and she's the star, so that's...
Oh, look at that personality. Go, girl.
So how has it been received? You know, I mean, obviously you live in Tarpon Springs now, which is a huge Greek community. I'm sure they all love it. But I know you've been traveling around the state. How has the books been received?
They are, it's wonderful. A lot of the retail shops in Tarpon Springs are taking them in. We just went to New York. We had a 10-day book tour there. So we were visiting a lot of the Greek churches and the schools, the library, the Queens Botanical Garden had me to present. We are going to New Orleans and Biloxi in a couple of weeks.
Ooh,
I've been invited to go speak at the International Hellenic Library, the International Hellenic Museum, forgive me, in Chicago. And that's going to be in July. So we're making our rounds.
Well, I'm so proud of you.
Thank
and
you
I'm
so much.
glad you were able to be here.
Thank you
I
so
think
much.
what people love about the Greek culture is it's so interesting, and you tell the story beautifully. I mean, it's exciting.
And anytime anywhere in the world you hear someone go, "Opa!" You already know. You already know who it is.
You're in for a good time. That's what you know. All right. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it so. Thank you.
If you'd like to order the book, Young World Travelers and the Magical Crystal Globe, or Ready, Set, Opa, you can visit thewordverve.com or Amazon or any book retailer. After the break, who says healthy food can't be flavorful? Our next guest proves you can have both when we come back. Stay with us.